Night 3, February 2nd. Welcome back. After waking up, Rin goes downstairs and, as usual, has her banter with Archer. It's a visual novel. We gotta be used to these kinds of things. There will be dialogue. Rin decides we're going to school today because even though she's become a master, she's not going to change her daily routine. Archer is not so sure this is a great idea. Archer believes that if Rin goes to the school, it will leave her vulnerable to an attack. Rin, on the other hand, believes that this is the perfect place to be. Since magi are supposed to be a secret, no master would risk having a battle take place in such a public space. Plus, Rin is not an idiot and has done her prior research, and she knows for a fact that there is only one other family of magi that live in this town. That family's head is 100% absolutely not a master, and his successor doesn't even have enough power to become a master. Just because the successor happens to go to the school as well doesn't mean anything. I'm sure it will absolutely not come up again at any point in the God knows how many hours left in this story. It's so unimportant that Rin doesn't even inform Archer, or the reader for that matter, of the identity of the other magus at her school. We head off to school where the other shoe immediately drops. In what is quickly becoming a pattern, we find out at school that Rin is once again wrong, as we sense a boundary field around the school being set up as we enter the premises. Whoever is setting this up is clearly very confident in themselves or a complete amateur, as a skilled magus should be able to set one of these up without being detected. Rin is pissed, as whoever is setting this up is in desperate need of an ass kicking for doing it so blatantly on her territory. Later, during second period, because I guess we're just gonna deal with this after school, during second period we run into Sakura, who is running an errand for Kuzuki Sensei. Don't worry, I also don't know who that is. We ask Sakura about last night with the foreigner, and don't receive a lot of information, because apparently Sakura and the foreigner were unable to communicate with each other due to the language barrier. Due to her own awkwardness, Sakura decided to end the conversation with the foreigner by running away, unsure of what else to do. I find this all very hilarious, cute, and unlikely. We receive confirmation in this conversation that Sakura and Shinji are in fact siblings, and that he might be abusing her. What the fuck? This conversation with Sakura is in fact the only thing of interest that happens during the school day, and as school ends and students begin to pack up and leave the school, Rin and Archer begin to prepare for their investigation into the boundary field that is being set up around the school. But for that, just a quick question. What the fuck is a boundary field? A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across a land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes, to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The boundary field laid out over our school is one of that kind. It is not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magic, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by such a strong current like myself. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is everyone in this school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... Rin cuts off her own train of thought at this point, so we don't really know exactly is going to happen, but I think it's fair to assume we're looking at a lot of dead school kids if we don't do something about this. Rin and Archer at this point are the only people left in the school as they find the source of the boundary field. Rin identifies it as a soul eater that will dissolve everyone in the school when it is activated. Holy shit. I ain't even done yet, because then we find out that servants are creatures that can devour souls to become stronger. That includes servants like Archer. This means that a great strategy for winning the Holy Grail War would be to just kill a ton of people and feed their souls to your servant to make them as strong as possible, which is almost certainly why this Soul Eater was created. With this information on the table, Rin and Archer right away confirm that they absolutely will not be using this tactic in order to win the Holy Grail War, to no real surprise. But could you fucking imagine if we introduced all those characters at the beginning just so that we could kill them all and absorb their power? You know, it's not what I would have done either, but it's interesting. Rin is not powerful enough to completely destroy the boundary, so she settles for now on just erasing this part of it to at least slow down the magus who created it. Eliminate. Surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the ground with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but... Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. Let's fucking do this! We are suddenly confronted by this blue motherfucker. Rin can tell in an instant that she cannot, should not, and will not fight this man. But we don't really have much of a choice in the matter, as this guy comes at us hard and fast. We are barely able to dodge his lethal attacks and decide to take the much safer option of just jumping off the fucking roof. We try to use Archer and all sorts of magical abilities to try to hasten our escape, but it doesn't matter as we are unable to even get off school grounds before this opposing servant has caught us. We are trying to gain distance here as Archer is an archer, and close melee combat seems like it would be a mistake. Rin correctly identifies this opposing servant as, well, say hello to Lancer, everyone. Lancer incorrectly identifies Archer as Saber because Archer draws a short sword for some reason. Lancer is eventually able to correctly identify Archer as Archer and encourages Archer to draw his bow, which Archer does not. Rin tells Archer to not hold back. And the fight is on! The battle between the two servants is fast and furious. There's no sign of slowing down. Hey guys, I've been thinking. What is a servant anyway? I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gained concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes, even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people existed in reality or only in stories. It is people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created. The greatest human people have created. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirits beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from 100 years ago.
the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. Wow, I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm forgetting something. It's probably nothing. That form is their temporary name, and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that the heroic spirits may take form more easily, and it only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present, as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance by allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role. It helps that spirit to take form. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Magus, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system, a summoning and contract with a heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition, held only on this ground, the one and the only Holy Grail War. And so ends another riveting episode of Exposition Theater. Hey Archer, how's it going over there? Things aren't going so hot as the fight is decidedly moving in Lancer's favor. Lancer's reach advantage manages to keep him on offense during the entirety of the fight so far, until eventually he's able to disarm Archer. Without a weapon to defend himself, Archer is a sitting duck and Lancer goes for the killing blow. But no, Archer is able to deflect the blow as not 1, but 2 short swords have appeared in his hands. Confused, but undeterred, Lancer continues his assault. With each blow, Lancer knocks another short sword out of Archer's hand, only for another one to appear in his hand again to replace it, which is more of a comical image than anything else, honestly. We on some Looney Tunes shit right here. Lancer has grown tired of these shenanigans and ceases his assault and then asks for Archer's true identity. Archer basically ignores this and then says that he's already figured out Lancer's true identity and that it's fairly obvious due to his nature of attack. If I had to make a guess, I'd say he's probably the Hamburglar. Lancer has grown tired of these shenanigans and has decided to end this fight right now with his noble phantasm. You know, his super secret ultra attack. Rin, what's our odds looking like? Archer will die when that lance is thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Well, fuck. Just as Lancer is about to land the killing blow, some fucking guy shows up. Yes, it would appear Rin was once again completely wrong, as some poor student has wandered onto our battlefield. As the student runs away, Lancer pursues because, once again, magic must remain a secret. Sucks to be that guy, but hey, lucky us. Lancer is off to exterminate this student, but that does not sit well with Rin, as she demands Archer pursue after Lancer. Have you ever been stabbed with a lance before? Your answer is no. You know why I know it's no? Because you are not dead. We find the body of the student laying in the hallway, stabbed once with Lancer's lance. Rin tells Archer to continue his pursuit of Lancer while she stays behind to mourn over her own mistake. This poor sap isn't dead quite yet, and the least Rin can do is stay here and see him off, at least. No one should have to die alone. Rin finally gets a good look at the body and is heartbroken to realize, oh shit, I know this person. What an awful run of bad luck. I mean, of all the people it could be, it's just the absolute worst possible option. I mean, Sakura is definitely gonna cry when she finds out about this. Rin does not have enough power to heal someone back from the brink of death. There's just absolutely nothing she can do about this. I mean, it's not like she can waste her one-time use super gem that can help her win the Holy Grail War, the entire Holy Grail War with its power. It's not like she can just waste it on this rando. So after wasting her one-time super gem that she got from her dead father to save some rando, Rin decides to get out of Dodge and just go straight to home, as she doesn't want to stick around the school and confront what she's actually just done. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a question for you. Who the fuck was that guy? Rin arrives home and tries desperately to think about anything besides the near death at the school and the loss of her ace in the hole. She thinks about things like how servants call themselves by their class names instead of their real names, so they can try to hide their true identities and therefore their weaknesses. Try to protect their Achilles heel, if you will. She thinks about how this is the 5th Holy Grail War, and she thinks about how Saber is the best because Saber has managed to get to the final fight in every war up until this point. She thinks about how Lancer, Archer, and Saber are all magically resistant, and this basically makes them the best. And she thinks about how the Berserker servant is driven completely insane and always causes the destruction of its master. Archer finally returns, and unfortunately he was unable to track down Lancer and figure out who his master is. During this conversation, Archer asks Rin a very important question. Rin, if you win the Holy Grail, what will you wish for? Rin says she doesn't really have a wish. Nothing really she wants out of the world. This answer kinda annoys Archer. Rin says she only fights to win, which is a sentiment I normally can get behind. But this is a death match. Are you a psycho? Archer doesn't really feel the same way that I do and compliments Rin for her answer, which she totally isn't head over heels about. Just gag me. Ugh. Wait. A thought suddenly occurs to Rin. Hey, do you think Lancer might want to double check that guy's dead? And if he's not, do you think Lancer might try to, fix that? It's been quite some time, so Rin rushes out of her house towards the home of the person she saved earlier today. She already knows where he lives. It's not like she's ever been there, she just happens to have an acquaintance who goes there quite a bit. It's always an acquaintance or that guy or this person with Rin. Rin, I am your player. We need to communicate better. You cannot be keeping these secrets from me. God damn it. We arrive at his house, but Lancer's already here. We need to do something fast before... What the fuck was that? Whatever it was, it scares Lancer away. The wind blows strongly. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. The unlit suburbs are enclosed by darkness, and the servant jumps over the wall, coming down like a demonic bird. Archer has reacted already, but I couldn't react. That was my mistake. The battle ended with that small opening not lasting even a second. It might have been only a second for me, but for that servant, it was an opening that couldn't be ignored. A sword rushes for me. Archer pushes me aside and the servant slashes. It happens in an instant. Archer, who handled Lancer's fury of attacks beautifully, has been taken down with one blow. But I make it in time this time. Just as the enemy servant is about to cut off Archer's head with her blade, I forcibly remove him. A pain in my right hand. It must have been an excessive command, so a command spell has disappeared from my hand. Now there's only one remaining. But this is for the best. Rather than having Archer die, I would prefer to lose 1 or 2 command spells. Giving no consideration to Archer's disappearance, the servant attacks me. I take from my pocket a topaz with wind spells stored in it. Then I launch all the magical energy it contains at her without processing it. This thing, which can blow away a house without a trace, is a bundle of wind spells I've stocked up over time. It's one of the 10 jewels I've been putting my magical energy into for 17 years without rest. I'm using all the magical energy stored in it, so even if I can't defeat her, it should at least slow her down a bit. No, not even that. It did nothing. The swirl of wind that instantly tears apart anything caught within it disappears like a magic trick the instant it touches the servant. Such strong magic resistance. Mere magical energy from a magus cannot hurt this servant. So this is it. She can't be hurt by magic, and I've lost the protection of Archer, so I can't stop this servant. I barely managed to avoid one blow, but that's all. I look up at the night sky. In it is the figure of cold-hearted death who was looking down at me, and I lay miserably on the ground.
Oh, hell yeah, it's Saber. She's finally here, and she's here to fucking kill... Wait, she's here to fucking kill us. Oh, fuck. So you're telling me, after playing for 3.5 hours, making 3 full episodes, well, 2.5 kinda, and editing and recording for 3 straight weeks, I've only made it to the fucking title screen?